everybody, it's Trixie. Welcome to the underground. So, I actually had some fun yesterday. Took a day off work. Usually I work every damn weekend. You know, I've been in home show hell. So finally I said no more. Went to the Price is Right stage show in Foxwoods in Connecticut, and they didn't call me. But, you know, I got to scream, higher, lower. It was a little bit like the show. If you watch it, I don't know. I mean, my grandmother grew up watching it. I grew up watching it with my grandmother. And the only thing I didn't like, I like that they called the people down, but then those people that didn't win, they were done. Usually with the television show, they have the other three people that didn't guess the correct price to have a chance the next time. They kept calling new people. And then for the showcase, this was what I really didn't like, because these people didn't have to guess the prices. They just went up there, spun, and got to the showcase, doing nothing. And the two people that got to the showcase, one was an Asian guy wearing a mask. I guess he thought he was going to get COVID from all of us. Anyway, he couldn't even spin the wheel. He ended up going to the showcase. The showcase comes, and he bid $15,000. Okay. So we all thought this guy's going to lose. The other lady, I mean, they gave away a Nissan Sentra, which is what I drive, an SV, and which is basically 30 grand brand new, and a trip to Las Vegas, a trip to London, and a BMW motorcycle. I guessed 46,000. I was way over. She guessed like 30 something, 36 maybe. I'm not even sure. Don't know. She lost. The guy, he bid 15,000. Can you imagine? Okay. So I got blown off at the last minute. My friends were like, oh, I've had a bad week. Really? You should see what I don't really talk about. I mean, I talk about it with you guys because you guys are like my therapist, but that's something a therapist should hear. If you're having a bad week, we all have things we go through. I'm sorry, but this made it better. I was happy. And then I went shopping, which made me even more happy. So went to my therapist last week. She was laughing through the entire session. I'm like, is my love life that funny? So I said, do you laugh with all your patients? And she says, no, all the way through. She dyed her hair blue. I'm like, is your hair blue? She's coming into her own. But yeah, I really I'm like does anybody have fun with their therapist? I don't know. My friend is like, don't fall in love with her. I'll try not to. So I want to talk about the Real Housewives right away, because it was the reunion part 3 and it was so intense, but like everybody's like, well, I don't watch the show, so please get on with the other stuff. Okay. So Trump, happy Mother's Day, by the way. Happy Mother's Day to Mommy Dearest, my mother, Mommy Dearest, 89 years old, still kicking. I'll be over there later, Mommy. And all the other mothers out there. So Melania Trump read a prepared statement, obviously that she did not proofread before, in front of the military mothers. In it, she said that Trump was not only a strong leader, which a lot of people called him, which I really don't get, but whatever, and then called him empathetic and caring. Are you? And then she cracked up, and then he kind of smirked. I mean, does anyone in the world, would anyone call Donald Trump empathetic, full of empathy? No. I can't believe it. But the way she cracked, I've never seen her smile before. So Trump's at war with Iran, the Pope, and now Luke Skywalker. This is according to The Guardian. The White House called him a, quote, sick individual after Donald Trump AI generated image of him in a shallow grave. That's what Mark Hamill did. I probably wouldn't do that. I remember what Kathy Griffin did, and that got her on the no-fly list when she put like a burned head or whatever. What a sawed-off head. They put her on the no-fly list. Yeah, her career was like almost ruined. And then he captioned, if only. Do you really want him to die and become a martyr? I mean, that's really, don't wish for someone to die. I don't think that's the right way. And then we have Gady Vance. I don't think so. I mean, I know he must have like taken it off his social media, but that wasn't the right way to go. I don't call him sick, but I think, terribly misguided. You don't wish for anyone to die. I mean, that comes back on you anyway, but this is more blatant than James Comey seashells. They're going to probably indict him now. because I don't understand. That's like worse than the seashells to me. Media mogul Ted Turner passed away. I liked him. I was actually attracted to him. I thought he was attractive, like my southern drawl fantasy. He suffered from Lewy body dementia. Former started CNN. I love CNN. TCM. I mean, all the great. He was like the first one to do the 24-hour news cycle. Great looking guy. Did a lot good for the country. Owned a lot of land with bison on it. Environmentalist, conservationalist. He did cheat on his wives. Had 3 of them. Jane Fonda he really loved. And I guess he said something. I think he said something like, "Oh, she expects me. I'm not a saint like she is." I don't think she's a saint, but like they did this thing on Jane Fonda, and she went back to see him at his house, and she was like looking at all the heads he had on the wall, and you could tell he loved her. When a guy like really loves a woman, it doesn't end. It doesn't end. She moved on. She doesn't even care about being with a man because women are basically stronger. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are getting married in New York City. Why? I was planning on going to Watch Hill, but I guess they just decided against it. I guess she loves New York. They're getting married right before, I think, July 3rd, right near Independence Day, at an indoor venue outside of helicopters, phones, and taxi drivers. She loves New York. Trump said Iran war is, quote, working very nicely. Did anybody ever hear of a war working very nicely? Yeah, every time I go by the gas station, it's $1 higher. He's saying all is going well in Iran. The Strait of Hormuz still not open. They better do something. The naval blockade is being enforced. And he said, he's out of his mind. It's, quote, a very friendly blockade. What the hell's that? A very friendly blockade? On May 5th, Trump had chicken? No, I can't read my own writing. Children in the Oval Office to announce presidential fitness test for kids. So this is what he's talking about with the kids. Mutilation of kids, like, the trans people. Transitioning from, this is what they want to hear. I never even knew what that was when I was a kid. I ended 8 wars. I won the 2020 election, and we won 86 or something % of the district. Men and women's sports. So teachers can't bring up this stuff, huh? But he can bring it up in the Oval Office in front of kids. That's really appropriate topics for children. Okay. Some idiot podcaster and Newsmax panel blamed Jimmy Kimmel for the joke he made about Rudy, because Giuliani was in the hospital. I don't know what happened to him, but he was in critical condition, I think. But, he made some crack about him being a vampire. Big deal. And he was hospitalized for pneumonia or something. And they were like, oh, shame on Jim. Really? It's his fault? Is he a psychic? He tells jokes about everybody. That's what a comedian does. And what the hell do they do all day long? Newsmax, all the right wing. They're so cruel. What are you talking about? Don't they talk bad about homeless people? I'm sorry, that's Jesse Waters, who said they should be thrown in. What did he say about homeless people? That we should cut off their genitals or something, or put them forcibly in a mental institution and sterilize them? I don't know. Something terrible. United Airlines crashed into a bakery truck. The poor guy was just trying to deliver bread on the New Jersey Turnpike. Boom. Every day I see a plane crashing, and then that ship with the hantavirus with people dying, and that guy basically having a nervous breakdown. We're just people. We just want to go home and be with our families. This is why I'll never go on a ship. I'll never go on a cruise. One person gets sick, and then you all die. And then they get off the ship and infect everybody else. I don't know. But they're saying it's not. Well, Trump is saying we got it under control, which makes me think they don't have it under control. So the DA for now, Todd Blanche, said on Meet the Press that you have to show your ID every time you walk in a restaurant. Really? I really never have. I don't even have an ID for when I go in the club, and that's because I look like I'm 80 years old. We are paying in taxes thanks to the GOP bill for his ballroom. Remember, he said he was going to get paid by generous donors, not by, that's private donations. I guess we're the private donors. The cognitive test. This is what he said the cognitive test was that he took 3 times. He keeps talking about he aced the test. So I don't know where this came from out of the blue. This is what the doctor said. 99 multiplied by 9, and I'm done right there, divided by 3, plus 4,293. I'm sorry, this is hysterical. Divided by 2, minus 93, divided by 9. Trump said he got it right. On which planet do you think we live on to believe this? So 20 years ago, he was on Howard Stern, right? And with Ivana and Donald Jr., who actually looked quite handsome back then. He had long hair before the cocaine, maybe, allegedly. And Howard Stern asked him, what, like, I can't remember, 17 times 6, which I don't even know that either. And Donald Jr. said 96, and then Trump said 1112. What the hell is 1112? What does 1112 mean? And Ivanka actually had the smartest answer. She said it's not a practical application. Yeah, I kind of need to write that down. I'm not a mathematician, but he was demented back then, but better looking. So the real answer was 102. I wouldn't have got it. I mean, admit it. I don't know. Instead, he's like 1112. That's like dumber than saying you don't know anything. This Congress has passed one of the lowest number of laws in modern history during its first year. There's 20 bills signed, 20. They get paid for this and have the best health care. The lowest in decades. What deadbeats. No wonder King Charles was like reamed our ass when he came up here about democracy. Okay, now we get to the fun stuff. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Ooh, love it. So men with money came up, okay? Like, what if your man didn't have any? And Kyle said in an after show, how would you feel if his penis fell off? So I guess she's saying she wouldn't be with someone who was poor. Because it just did. Like, that's how a guy measures his penis, is his wallet. Kathy said, no money, no honey. Andy brought up when Bose was on Watch What Happens Live. What do you think Amanda is good at? And Bose said, scamming. She explained it. She didn't understand what Amanda does for a living. I really don't. I guess manifesting money. I really don't know. Kyle talking about Dorit having OCD, erratic behavior, and crazy spending habits. Her credit card got declined, as you saw in Italy. And Kyle felt, I guess, the scapegoat for Dorit's miserable life because everything's going wrong with Dorit, money problems, her house is being foreclosed upon. She's going through an epic divorce battle with PK. He's got a girlfriend that looks just like her. They showed a clip of Erica saying maybe PK wasn't wrong for leaving. I don't know what really, I guess so, for leaving. And Dorit's reaction was she turned her wrath on Kyle. Of course, because Kyle's to blame for everything in her life. I mean, why are you doing that? I don't understand why she thought Kyle was the gang leader. TMZ obtained court documents alleging Dorit spent $1.5 million on luxury shopping. I could do that easily. In the past year, $69,000 on Louis Vuitton and Chanel individually, $38,000 at Hermes, and purchases at FWRD Forward. I don't know what that is, and I don't know, but that's pretty heavy, but if you got it, no big deal. PK alleged that Dorit made no mortgage payments, and while she was living on the property, said he covered 90% of the expenses. The property is in $6 million in debt for the mortgage, and he wants to stall the. He wants them to sell it before it goes into foreclosure, which is actually normal. She had a plan to make Dorit look bad. That's what Dorit was saying about Kyle. Like, Kyle sits there and schemes. Dorit did that all by herself. I mean, I'm sorry, but being late all the time, how did Kyle do that? Make Dorit late. Like a sinister plot, Kyle hatched to make Dorit look self-involved, late, in constant attack mode. Then they had the split screens. Dorit thinks Kyle is a gang leader. Erica and Sutton are her minions, which Erica's nobody's minion. I'm sorry. Dorit said you wouldn't bow down to the altar of Kyle Richards. And Dorit said Kyle has the power to get anyone off the show. Kyle is OG. She is like, they said that about Teresa too from New Jersey Housewives. I mean, I don't really think Kyle's that vindictive. Kathy cracked up because she's thinking that's crazy. That's not my sister. And she said Dorit said Erica thinks that. And then um, Andy, you better watch your step, Kyle said, because she's going to throw Andy off Bravo. Andy is Bravo. And I guess Kyle's the new Lisa Vanderpump. Goodbye, Kyle. They showed clips of Dorit leaving everywhere. Remember, she left him there. She got in the car, turned off the cameras, and left. And Dorit said she was tired of being attacked to Kyle. Quote, I said, don't talk behind my back. Like, she really turns fierce. I said, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm just going to bash your brains in. I'm going to bash them right the fuck in, as Jack Nicholson would say in The Shining. Dorit said, I said I'm sorry, which she says it just because her back's against the wall. She doesn't really mean it. Erica said, but do you mean it? Of course not. No, Erica, I'm a cold-hearted fucking see you next Tuesday. She's like the demon in The Exorcist, Dorit. Kathy jumped in to defend Kyle, asking why she is only concerned with how Erica's feeling. And Kyle said, you only want yes people around you. And I have people like that. I am not a yes friend. I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you you're being an ass. I'm going to tell you everything that's wrong. I don't care if you leave me as a friend. Erica said, you're fighting for a friendship that no longer exists to Kyle. And she was asked if there's anything they asked Dorit, is there anything you change? And she says, I don't want to be late. Good luck with that. She's been late ever since she came on the show. Erica said, I want the old Dorit back. She's not here. Danny's gone away, Mrs. Torrance. And Dorit said, I heard an expression by Erica. You find out who your real friends are, not when things are easy, but when things are difficult. That's true. A friend in need. That's what they say. Erica was hysterical. This person is not really here right now. Really nice. You're not really nice. That's a nice way of putting that. Dorit is really rude. Amanda and Sutton were leaning over to see Erica's hand gestures. It's hysterical. I wish this show didn't end. Erica says, I love you and we're friends. I don't deserve this. Erica's so calm. I just love the way she just gets her point across. That's good communication skills. Drawing a boundary. She said, Dorit, I need a break. And Jennifer Tilly actually said nothing. So that was, I don't know what that was. They said, what are you manifesting? Andy asked him, what are you manifesting for the next year? Jay Tilly says, I will win the main event at the World Series of Poker. I hope she does. She plays great. Being free from an old life, Erica says. On to new things. Sutton says, a man. Dorit said, me and PK on good terms. And Kyle said, peace for herself and everyone in this group and surviving her kids moving out. So that's it for the Beverly Hills. I'm so glad. I'm so refreshed. I feel great. I've got no problems to report, but I want to wish everybody happy Mother's Day again. Stevie, thanks for not bothering me. Thanks, you guys, for subscribing. You guys are here for me, and I love you, and we'll see you again next week, okay? Love you. Bye.